I made the best universe mode, but it's all elite wrestling. In this episode, I'm going to try to make AEW the best wrestling show in the world. Let's go to week 1. Week 1 kicks off with the AEW TNT champion Samoa Joe going one-on-one against a former AEW International champion, Orange Cassidy. The reason I decided to give Joe the TNT championship is because when I think of the term TNT, I think of explosions, obviously. And who is more explosive than Samoa Joe? This is why I think he could make the value of the TNT championship skyrocket and turn it into a hardcore strong-style wrestling kind of belt, where we could see crazy matches for this title. And just like that, Orange Cassidy was in control of the match, looking to put the TNT champion down. But the champion was not about to lose that easily. Joe managed to counter a move from Cassidy, and after hitting him with a combo, Cassidy was in trouble. The AEW TNT champion, Samoa Joe, won the match after making Orange Cassidy use his hands to tap out, securing the win by submission. However, after the match ended and Joe was celebrating, the former AEW World Champion, Adam Page, came down the ramp making a clear statement. "Samoa Joe, I am coming for your title." Joe was not backing down. He actually invited Adam Page to the ring to settle things right there. In the second match of the night, the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland, was set to go one-on-one against the powerhouse, Hobbs. Copeland, formerly known as Edge, brought his trademark intensity to the ring, a blend of technical prowess and seasoned strategy poised against Hobbs' brute strength and agility. The match started with some back and forth between Hobbs and Copeland, with Copeland gaining the upper hand, but not for long. Hobbs managed to dodge a dropping elbow from the Rated R superstar and then went on to almost decapitate Copeland with a massive clothesline. Hobbs had Adam cornered, but after trying to restrain the Rated R superstar for a bit too long, Copeland found a way out of harm's way. Now, Adam, regaining control, punished Hobbs with a facebreaker that nearly reshaped the powerhouse's nose. Fast forwarding to the end, Adam was able to take down Hobbs after landing his finishing move, the spear, to win the match. No sooner had Copeland begun to celebrate than the atmosphere shifted. Chris Jericho made his way to the ring, his gaze locked on Copeland. The confrontation was silent but intense, a moment charged with unspoken challenges and possibilities, setting the stage for a confrontation that promised to captivate the AEW audience. In the next segment of Dynamite, the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson came out to address the crowd. Bryan took a mic and stated, "I have around my waist the most coveted and prestigious title in professional wrestling. I'm not going to be a hypocrite like most people and trash the world wrestling. You know the rest, but I was there, and I was their champion. And I can honestly say that this AEW World Championship is the biggest prize for real professional wrestlers." Now, I have to say there have been good and great AEW champions in AEW. But thus far, there has not been a guy that really embodies what wrestling is, and that's exactly what I'm going to do as your champion. As Bryan's words filled the arena, Jon Moxley's music hit, and the intensity in the arena spiked. Moxley, fierce as ever, marched to the ring, microphone in hand. Jon Moxley said the following, "Bryan, you're talking a big game about embodying wrestling, but let's not forget who laid everything on the line for that championship. I defended this title against every threat, never once letting the pressure break me, something not everyone can say." A clear jab at Bryan's past injuries. Moxley continued, "I am, without a doubt, the greatest AEW champion this company has ever seen. No one can..." Before Moxley could finish, MJF's theme song cut him off, and the former champion strutted out to the ring, arrogance in every step. MJF took a mic and said the following, "The greatest, Mox. Sure, you were a great champion, but I took that title from you. And let's remember, I've held this title longer than anyone else in AEW's history." Not missing a beat, Moxley retorted, their rivalry crackling in the air. "Longest champ, huh? You beat me because a cheating scumbag helped you out, and let's not sugarcoat it. After that, you never faced anyone worth a damn for that belt." The tension escalated as Bryan, previously an observer, found himself caught in the crossfire of this heated exchange. Silence hung heavy for a moment before the stakes were raised. A match between MJF and Moxley was announced for later that night, determining the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship, setting the stage for an explosive main event. And just like that, the match was underway. Moxley had MJF in the corner, but the latter was able to counter an attempt by Moxley and followed up with a kick to the gut and a running knee to the face of the former champion. Now Moxley was in control, and he was looking to keep things that way and hit MJF with a neck breaker, Moxley tried to hit a clothesline on Max, who leaned against the ropes, and almost on instinct, Maxwell was able to get out of the way. Moxley, being the brawler that he is, started to put a beating on MJF. Moxley was looking to finish the match with a paradigm shift, but Maxwell countered and hit Moxley with a low blow. MJF, searching for the victory, hit Moxley with a crossroads, but out of nowhere, Kenny Omega was here, and he hit MJF with a running flying knee. What is Kenny Omega doing? Now Moxley with MJF and paradigm shift. This match is over. You can count to 100. After the match was over, the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson came out to congratulate his former crewmate, as Moxley was now the #1 contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And with Moxley and Bryan standing face to face, Week 1 came to an end. Week 2 kicked off with the TNT champion Samoa Joe taking on House of Black's Buddy Matthews. The match started with the TNT champion Samoa Joe dominating. Joe had Matthews in the corner, but when he went for his next move, Matthews countered with a double knee to the back and followed up with a running knee right to the champion's face. Matthews attempted a move in the corner, but Joe countered the move and hit Matthews with a running back elbow followed by an enziguri. Samoa Joe won the match after applying a coquina clutch on Buddy Matthews, winning by submission. After the match was over, Adam Page rushed to the ring and attacked Samoa Joe from behind. Then the former AEW champion grabbed the TNT Championship belt and smashed Samoa Joe right in the face with the belt. Adam Page has made his intentions crystal clear. In the next match of the night, Sammy Guevara was set to take on Adam Copeland. However, as Adam was making his way to the ring, Chris Jericho attacked the Rated R superstar from behind, targeting the back of his leg. With this attack, Chris tossed the ball to Sammy Guevara to finish the job and end Adam Copeland for good. Sammy dominated the match and had everything under control, but after a counter by Adam, the tables turned. Adam hit Sammy with a sit-out rear mat slam, then followed up with an impaler. Adam won the match after landing the spear on Guevara for the win. But after the match was over, Jericho came back and attacked Adam yet again. This time, he went and got a chair, unleashing a savage attack on Copeland's knee, hitting him over and over again. The referee tried to stop Jericho, but he wouldn't listen. Jericho continued hurting Adam until he grew tired of doing so. The next match of the night featured a tag team bout between the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn against the Gunn Brothers. The Acclaimed secured the victory after Anthony Bowens hit one of the Gunn Brothers with his finishing move. In the following segment of the night, the returning Kenny Omega was set to explain why he attacked MJF last week, costing him the match, and therefore an opportunity to challenge Bryan Danielson in next week's special episode of Dynamite called Everything or Nothing. Kenny Omega, with a microphone in hand and looking straight into the eyes of MJF, said, "You and everybody else want to know why I did it? Why did Kenny Omega cost MJF the match? The reason is simple. I did it to protect AEW from you. Ever since you became the AEW champion, the stock went down. And the reason why this happened is because you never gave a damn about this company. The only thing you cared about was MJF, the bidding war, and making money. Before you, everyone else who held that championship had a do-or-die spirit. We only cared about making this company the greatest wrestling company in the world. And I'm sorry to say this, but as good as you are, you failed miserably at doing so." "You know what, Kenny?" MJF retorted. "You're right. I only care about me, my money, and being the biggest star in this business. You are absolutely right, but everything else that you said is bull. You see, I don't know if you remember who main evented the biggest event this company has ever done. Oh wait, it was me. Not only did I main event, but I opened the show. That's on me. That's not on you. That's not on the Elite. That's not on Tony Khan. That's on me." After MJF finished talking and was leaving to go backstage, Kenny Omega unleashed another attack on MJF, even throwing him against the steel steps. It was then confirmed by Tony Khan, Kenny Omega versus MJF, at Everything or Nothing next week on Dynamite. Now it was time for the main event, where the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson was set to team up with Jon Moxley against the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. Although Bryan and Jon were set to fight for the AEW Championship at Everything or Nothing, tonight they were allies against one of the best tag teams in wrestling. Somehow Danielson and Moxley were able to set their upcoming match aside, and together they defeated the AEW Tag Team Champions in what was a great match for the fans. But after the match was over, Moxley showed his true colors. He took the AEW World Championship and struck Bryan Danielson right in the face, leaving the champion unconscious in the middle of the ring. And like that, it was the end of week 2. It was time for AEW Dynamite. Everything or Nothing, a special night where champions were tested to their limits. The first match of the night was for the AEW TNT Championship. The match began with some back-and-forth action between the champion and the challenger. Joe took control after a missed clothesline by Adam Page. Joe had Hangman in the corner and was looking for his signature running back elbow and enzui-giri, but Page countered. Joe was leaning against the ropes and Hangman looked to capitalize, but he missed with the boot as Joe got out of harm's way. The TNT champion then executed a suicide dive onto Adam Page, who was at ringside. Fast forwarding to the end, Samoa Joe picked up Hangman Adam Page and hit him with a muscle buster to win the match and retain his AEW TNT Championship in the opening match of this special edition of Dynamite. In the second match of the night at AEW Everything or Nothing, we saw the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland face off against the former AEW World Champion Chris Jericho in a singles match. The match started with both legends going at each other, countering each other's moves. Copeland ultimately gained the offensive, but that didn't last as he tried to put Jericho in a hold on the ground, but Chris saw it coming and hit Adam with a boot to the face. Jericho now on the offensive. As Adam was getting back up, Jericho was right there with double boots to the face through the middle ropes. Adam sent Jericho back to the ring, but as he was re-entering, Jericho surprised him with a triangle drop kick, sending Adam back ringside. Jericho looked to hit Adam with a plancha, but Copeland dodged it. Adam hit Jericho with an impaler DDT. Now, Adam was looking for a spear to put Jericho down, but Jericho hit Copeland with a codebreaker out of nowhere. Now it was Jericho who was looking to end the match and make the Rated R superstar tap out courtesy of the walls of Jericho's submission hold. But Adam managed to escape. As they were getting up, he hit Jericho with a sit-out rear mat slam. Now, Adam was looking to submit Jericho with a Scorpion Deathlock, but Jericho too was able to get out of Adam's submission hold. Now, Jericho with a clothesline to Adam, followed by a bulldog. Crowd was on their feet as Jericho hit Copeland with a moonsault. Jericho attempted the Judas effect, but he missed, and Adam countered with a spear, covering Jericho for the win. The Rated R superstar secured the victory at Everything or Nothing. In the third match of the night, we witnessed a clash between two former AEW World Champions embroiled in what has become a very personal dispute. One claims to be the future and the now of professional wrestling, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and the other claims to be the only hope and savior of All Elite Wrestling, Kenny Omega. Omega then proceeded to hit MJF with a running knee strike, followed by an inverted Hurricane Rana. Omega went for another flying knee, but MJF countered and hit a knee face breaker. MJF took Omega to the top rope corner and hit Kenny with a superplex. MJF went for a high-risk move, but Omega got out of the way. Seizing the moment, Kenny Omega took MJF to the announce table and hit him with a destructive Tiger Driver, driving MJF head first into the announce table. Omega then took MJF back to the ring and hit him with a V-trigger. Omega lifted MJF and delivered the one-winged angel to secure the win. Kenny Omega prevails at Everything or Nothing, cementing his position as a cornerstone of All Elite Wrestling. It was time for the main event, where Jon Moxley was seeking to win the AEW Championship again from his former crewmate and current AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson in a steel cage match. But as Danielson was making his way to the ring, Moxley attacked him from behind, even before the cage was completely lowered. Despite the ambush, Bryan fought back robustly, turning the tides on Moxley. He delivered a fierce beating, but Moxley resorted to dirty tactics, hitting Danielson below the belt and then slamming him twice against the walls of the cage. Moxley then grabbed Bryan and slammed him again against the cage. Danielson was visibly hurt, and Moxley took his time to inflict more pain on the AEW champion. Moxley was looking to finish the match with a paradigm shift, but Bryan skillfully countered the move, turned Moxley around, hoisted him onto his shoulder, and delivered a devastating move. Bryan then unleashed a quick combo on the former champ, bringing the crowd to its feet. Feeling the momentum, Danielson hit Moxley with a Busaiku knee. Yet, the champion was not done. He locked Moxley in the label lock. Somehow, Moxley managed to escape the hold and, out of nowhere, hit Danielson with a paradigm shift. Moxley then attempted to escape from the cage, but Danielson stopped him and dropped him with a power bomb. Now it was Bryan's turn to attempt an escape. Moxley also climbed the cage, and they both met at the top, exchanging punches. Ultimately, Bryan managed to throw Moxley down, leave the cage, and retain the AEW Championship at Everything or Nothing on Dynamite. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to share it with your friends and give it a big thumbs up.